Well, welcome to Friday.
Thank goodness it's Friday.
Yes, it feels just like every other day, but here we are. Here we are nonetheless. Great to be back with you today. And we have a couple of pieces of business.
Yep.
First, you want to do our shout out, John?
Yes.
Look at this. This is cute as all giddy up. We got this from Jim and Joanne Stevens. This is their granddaughter, Gianna. And Gianna wrote a note to our grocery store workers and our supermarket workers who are just on the front lines of just helping us out, keeping food flowing into our homes. And if you have 3 teenagers like I have, you know how desperate that is. So we want to say hi, Gianna.
Hi.
And we thank you for thanking our people and just reminding us how blessed we are to have people like that in our lives. So keep flowing all of those shout outs, all of those pictures and images from quarantine. And Joanne and Jim, thanks for sending that to us as well.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Really, thanks for the reminder, Gianna. That's great. Just a couple of reminders. We've now completed a week of the classes I'm teaching called In the Meantime, which talk about our faith and how it is challenged and how it grows and during these kinds of challenging times in our lives. We had a great first 3 sessions. We'll be continuing next week. If you're interested in being a part, you should have seen some ways to do so in the email that we sent out that you can sign up for yesterday, and or you can reach out to me. I can get you in next Wednesday's class. There's 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday. So would love to have you be a part. Coming up this coming week,
Pump Theology on May 5th. I'm sending out an invitation to the congregation for participation. We can host up to 100 people, so if you've never done it before, we have room for you. We would love to see you. We'd love to hear from you. For those who have done it before, we're doing it over Zoom. It's not ideal that we are doing it.
it's something.
In over technology. I'd rather be at Two Stones or on some lovely patio someplace enjoying my beverage, but it keeps us together. It keeps us social. So for those of you who are joining us, props for those who are going to wear sombreros, drink Corona or a margarita. You will get your very own gold star.
Gold star coming at you.
And small groups. Small groups is still continuing. For those of you who are participating, always be on the lookout for an email inviting you to your next meeting. That is coming up on Sunday and Tuesday for our regularly scheduled groups. So this session, we've got a session on Malachi and one more session on Haggai.
Awesome. And then you should be looking out for the bulletin to arrive later today, probably. And then for the worship service link for Sunday morning, that should be in your email box by about 8 o'clock. So hope you can join us.
Ministry still continues here.
Yep, we're still moving forward. So today, we were going to go back one more time to the Walk to Emmaus. And we said this a week or 2 ago, John. We said you could preach on this for forever. We're going back to it again. It's our gospel lesson from last Sunday. John preached on it, if you remember. And it takes place right after, or on Easter Sunday, right after Mary Magdalene announces to, maybe it's the Mary's announced to the disciples that Jesus has been risen. So we're in Luke 24, 13 to 35. So it's a little long. So you can follow along with us. Now, on that same day, 2 of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem, and talking with each other about these things that had happened. While they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself came near and went with them, but their eyes were kept from recognizing him. And he said to them, "What are you discussing with each other while you walk along?" They stood still, looking sad. Then one of them, whose name was Cleopas, asked him, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem who does not know the things that have taken place in these days?" He asked them, "What things?" They replied, "The things about Jesus of Nazareth, who was a prophet, mighty in deed and word before God and all the people, and how our chief priests and leaders handed him over to be condemned to death and crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. Yes, and besides all this, It's now the third day since these things took place. Moreover, some women from our group astounded us. They were at the tomb early this morning, and when they did not find his body there, they came back and told us that they had indeed seen a vision of angels who said that he was alive. Some of those who were with us went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said, but they did not see him. Then he said to them, "Oh, how foolish you are, and how slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have declared. Was it not necessary that the Messiah should suffer these things and then enter into his glory?" Then, beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them the things about himself in all the scriptures. As they came near the village to which they were going, he walked ahead as if he were going on. But they urged him strongly, saying, "Stay with us, because it is almost evening, and the day is now nearly over." Which, ironically, remember we were doing liturgy? Ironically, the day is evening, the day is over, and what did I say? Because it is almost evening, evening vespers. No gold star for anybody. We already earned that gold star. It's from our liturgy as well. So see, he can sing it the whole way. So anyway, stay with us because it's almost evening and the day is now nearly over. We get distracted so easy. It's like a squirrel.
We're getting punch drunk.
So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. They said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking to us on the road and while he was opening the scriptures to us?" That same hour they got up and returned to Jerusalem, and they found the 11 and their companions gathered together. They were saying, "The Lord has risen indeed, and he has appeared to Simon." Then they told what had happened on the road and how he had been made known to them in the breaking of the bread. And I don't know, John and I were actually talking before we came on camera today, and we were talking about that right now there's not a lot to do, and so we're doing a lot of walking. We do a lot of walking. I walk every morning. I walk every night. I walk probably close to 4 miles a day now.
Not quite there.
Not quite there. Well, you got a
Not
baby.
quite.
You got a baby. You got a baby. It's all good. But I got to get my teenagers off their screens.
I'll get there.
Yeah, you'll be there. God only knows what it'll be at that time. You have to get them off their hovercraft.
Yeah.
But we walk all the time and we talk all the time during that. So in the morning I'm talking with my wife. In the evening I'm talking with my kids. These disciples were walking and they were talking. And it got us thinking about which direction we are walking. Because these two disciples, Jesus is crucified, buried. They've heard that he's raised, but they haven't seen him. And there's a lot of code, I think, mixed in there, John, about not seeing Jesus. And so in the beginning of the story, before they see him, they're walking away from Jerusalem. But by the time their eyes are opened, they're walking toward Jerusalem. And so the question for us, I think, that I wanted to ask today is, which direction are we walking? Which direction are you walking?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Are we walking toward Jerusalem, if you will?
Yeah, and it's just a great. We don't talk about movement in Scripture really at all. We talk in terms of Jesus went from here to here and here to here and here to here, but not. Direction doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot in the terms of story. But it's interesting that these two people are walking away from the mess that their lives have become in light of Good Friday, and they're trying to get away from it as best as they can. I don't know whether whether they've got their rucksacks and they're moving to Emmaus and they're never thinking twice about this, or whether they're just
it's a retreat.
Just I got to get out and clear my head.
Yeah.
But it always strikes me that Jesus is walking into the middle of the mess. Into the middle of the mess, because that's where we are.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really great reminder for us that even when we're walking away, there's somebody walking towards us.
Yeah. You might be walking away, but that doesn't mean that Jesus isn't following us. And truly, and then you have that great moment when their eyes are opened and they see clearly, and it's like, my gosh, he's right. Christ is risen. There's life. There's resurrection. There's good news.
We got to go.
We got to get back where we were, because that is where the heart of who we are as people of God really is, and it's really powerful when you look at the movement.
Yeah, and we talk about Jesus being beside us, behind us, in front of us. We don't necessarily talk about Jesus walking towards us, or the fact that Jesus turns us around a lot. That there is something about life and faith and struggle that Jesus says, no, you don't sell yourself short. Let's go do this together.
Yeah.
There is that, come on, let's go. We got to go down this aisle in the store. I know it's not your favorite, but let's go.
Yeah. It's funny the way they say it too. Jesus himself came near and went with them. So it's not like they came upon this man standing on the side of the road. I almost get this image of Jesus, if you're walking along a path and there's somebody who's trying to catch up with you and they're like almost speed walking to catch up with you. And I know when I'm walking my dogs, especially if there's a dog walker behind me, I'm trying to keep ahead of them because my dogs start pulling backwards. But are we trying to keep ahead of him, or are we trying to let Jesus catch up with us? And which way are we going? And
yeah,
it's a great thing you picked up, John. I like
we're
that a
all
lot.
going to answer that differently, but
Yeah.
I think the thing we hang our hat on is that no matter where we're walking or where we're walking or if we're walking at all,
Yeah.
Jesus is coming towards us.
Yeah. There's a message in that for us today, I think. Whether you're staying at home or whether you have to go to work because you're essential, or you're working from home or whatever. I think there's a message in that for us today. Which way are we walking? Which way are you walking? You want to close us out?
Yeah.
For the week? John's going to close us with prayer.
The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Gracious God, you promise that you are near to us no matter where we go or what we do. In this time where we may be running away from the uncertainty, the anxiety, the pain, and just stress of this life, bring us back to you. Bring us back to your love. Bring us back to your peace. Bring us back to your grace that you give freely and indiscriminately and abundantly. Help us to see that Jesus is walking towards us, holding us, and in the midst of every single moment of our day. Help us to remember that, Lord, this day and every day. Amen.
Amen. Have a great weekend. Enjoy. We'll see you next week.
Take care.